Hello and welcome back to another Let's Play LOTRO with me, Balthelion. So today might finally be the last of the Shire. We will see how we get on. We have a couple more of those bloody pie quests left to do. Where are we going? Area Door, Shire. We have 2 more pies in our epic pie travels, and then that is the last of the quest where we have to go across the Shire and deliver everything. We've done all the mail quests already, so that's already a good start. So hello to anyone who's in the chat. By anyone, I mean the usual suspects, because you're probably lurking. So we are starting today over in Brockenborings. So this is the one town that we haven't actually done any quest in yet, besides a bit of hand-ins at the end of the last session. But otherwise, we've pretty much been everywhere in the Shire. We've got a couple of quests over to the north of the Greenfields that we haven't done yet. So we're going to end up doing Brockenborings, Greenfields, mopping up some loose bits. Hopefully that will be the end of the Shire. Probably going to be a lot of running around though. But we will see how we get on today. So it might end up being a little bit of a shorter stream than usual. So we are in the Brockenborings Watch Office, which is where we finished up at the end of the last episode. We have Bound of Brimstone.
Might I speak with you a moment?
We've been under a lot of pressure lately from folk in Brockenborings and their nearby villages, complaining that Mayor Whitfoot hasn't done any more to deal with the problems in the Shire. Maybe we should make absolutely sure that Miss Tunnelly's goblin is a figment of her imagination. There's a hunter of some kind who camps out on the Greenfields. His name is Halros, and for one of the big folk he seems to be a decent enough fellow. Show him that pointy stone of yours and ask him what he makes of it. To find his camp, follow the wall east out of Brockenborings. When it leaves the road, head off the path and follow the wall to a copse of trees. You might know what that stone really is. So Halros we get to know a bit better in the Volume 3 epic story as well. So we'll probably see... actually no, I'll say that. That's in the past actually, because that's before we went down to Isengard that we would have gathered him and met the rest of the Rangers. So let's head outside. But I'm trying to think if he's perished yet. I think he is alive. He's not one of the ones that died on the road. Who we got here? We have a Ponto Hornblower.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Have you heard the rumours yet? Friends of mine are saying that Pansy Tunnelly down at Scary saw a goblin on the Greenfields, and there are sure to be more of them creeping into the Shire. This is terrible news. The grazing on the Greenfields is better than anywhere else, and I bring my sheep out there every day. What will I do if goblins surprise me out there? I heard some goblins are particularly skilled with spears. I could be a pincushion before I even saw them. You'd be putting my mind at ease if you could make sure there are none of those spear-throwing goblins in northern Greenfields, Silry. I would feel a lot better if I knew there were really no goblins out there at all. So I have to deal with them. Now there are a couple of quests up in the tavern by the looks of it, so let us mount up. And there's actually a couple to the northeast of town as well. So inside the local tavern, or actually not quite yet, the Plough and Stars, Ivo Brockhouse.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Oh, that's a pie quest. That's where the pie quest is. Okay, we'll save that one till later. And yep, speak of the devil and they should appear. Hello, Yonder Shire Hobbit.
Hello there. Might I speak with you a moment?
So, the tavern keep House and Tubwort. Be welcome to the Plough and Stars. Stay a while and put your feet up. Try our famous Woollyfoot Stout. Good, isn't it? But let me tell you, I have a brewing problem you might be able to help me with. It's almost like that every innkeeper's got a brewing problem. The 4 Farthings Brewing Moot is coming up, and I want to make some of my best Woollyfoot Stout for the judging. But you see, I need my secret ingredient. I use powdered gypsum to take the bitter edge off the brew. Usually I order it from the quarry in Scary, not far to the east of here, but it hasn't shown up. Can you please go to Scary and find out from old Wilcombe Tunnelly what happened to it? Much obliged to you. So we'll take that quest. Hello to Julius as well. Where we go? Nothing else in here, so let's head back outside. And let's go northeast because there's a couple, I think, over by that hobbit hole. No, actually up here by the windmill. So there's actually something else up here as well, which is this Hobbit Lamp. Which, if you've ever been to Enedwaith, you'll know what these are. Most of these are in Enedwaith itself, but this is a random one that is randomly in the Shire, just to sort of tie everything together. Basically, the hobbits used to live over in the Misty Mountains. So they were kind of over this kind of region. So that's back where like Smeagol and Deagle used to live until they kind of migrated west and then settled in the Shire. So down there's like a load of like Hobbit relics. There's a forgotten Hobbit tribe out there as well in the north. And they've left a couple of these lampposts as well, kind of like indicating their journey. And there's a similar kind of migrationary thing for dwarves as well. Although I'm trying to think where the dwarven one is. Is it outside Four Inns Hall or inside Four Inns Hall? But the Shire one is in here. So since we haven't actually picked up any in the Enedwaith, actually no, I need to be a certain level to interact with it. So, oh no, there we go. There we go. New deed, Long Road of the Hobbits. So it's kind of tracking the Hobbit's trail. So there's a whole bunch of these. So 3 of them are in Enedwaith, and then the last one is in the Shire. As I say, there's a similar one for dwarves. Which is why this comes under technically an Enedwaith deed, not a Shire deed. But you get some nice stuff, a couple of points, an emote, a title, virtue XP. So if you're starting out, you are not going to get to Enedwaith until you're like in the level 60 to 65 kind of region. So don't worry about completing that deed just yet. We can remove that from the tracker. So I've got a couple of quests. Bodo Goodbody.
Stay and have some tea.
There have always been bears on the Greenfields, but recently something made them angry. They've been attacking shepherds and sheep alike, and I don't know how long it'll be before someone is seriously hurt. If you can discourage the bears from the Greenfields, it will be much safer for those of us whose work takes us north of Brockenborings, and also for those who just like a pleasant walk in the sun. Would you be of a mind to help? I'm sure it would be most appreciated. So it's going to give us either an axe or pies. Now, since we can't use axes, it's going to be all about the food. And lastly, Sigismund Northtook.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Welcome. Are you here to pay your respects to the Bull Roarer? Banderbreast Bull Roarer Took. He is my ancestor, you know, and the greatest hero of the Shire. A long time ago, an army of goblins invaded the Shire. Goblins, of all things. Well, the Bull Roarer, he wouldn't stand for it. No, sir. He gathered all the Tooks and other brave hobbits he could muster and rode out on his horse against them. So yeah, he used to ride a horse, not a pony, because he was quite large for a hobbit, famously large. So he could ride the big stuff. You heard me right, Siri. A horse, a full-grown horse. The Bull Roarer was 4'5", as the family records tell, and could ride a horse just like the big folk. Every spring we honour his memory by holding the Feast of the Greenfields. We usually place tankards of Bull Roarer's brew, Banderbreast's favourite drink, around his statue, but so many folk have come out this season that we are completely out of clover, one of the main ingredients. You wouldn't be able to go out and get us more clover, would you, my good hobbit? The clover only grows on the Greenfields, north of the Brockenborings. So, grab that. Is there any other quests in the town? That is a good point. Yeah, that is a Spring Festival quest. Because the Spring Festival is now activated. But we'll do it, because we're here, so screw it. Never-ending Shire questing. Actually, I've now got a quest ring up top. Actually, no, it's the pie quest, isn't it? Anything else to the west? Otherwise, it looks like we're going into the Greenfields. Yep. So up we go, past the skirmish camp. And let's just do a track nearby quest just to rearrange those if they're any different. No. Right, so to the east is Hauros, which is that red quest ring. And I think we've got to go back to Pansy at the quarry and speak to her. So Hauros is just hiding suspiciously in the low ground. It's not very tactical.
How can I be of service?
What is this? A goblin tooth? It is a pleasure to meet you, Silri, but I must confess I have already come across goblins in the Shire, as you can see. This was just a scouting party, but there is sure to be a larger camp of the creatures somewhere nearby. We must deal with this threat before the goblins rally their courage to attack the nearby towns.
How can I be of service?
While I am not from the Shire, my kindred are sworn to defend its folk against all threats. I am what the folk of the Bree would call a ranger. If you would aid me in my task, you have my gratitude, Silri. The goblin encampment must be somewhere to the north, but I have not yet had an opportunity to track these goblins. We should each set out in opposite directions and search the North Greenfields. If you find the encampment, thin their numbers as much as you can, then return here to my camp. I will do the same. For the sake of the good folk who make their homes in this peaceful place, I hope we find the lair of these goblins, Silri. So, accept that one. And then I think we go to the quarry next, because that's probably just go talk to someone and come back. We can do the old fence running quest as part of the Spring Festival as well. We're going slightly over here. Who do we speak to? Someone over there. Is it Pansy? No, it's Wilcom.
Just a moment.
You've come from Howson? It's a sad story, I have to tell. Just as well, it's you. I have sent one of my men up to the old plough with a cart to take that gypsum up for Howson and bring a few kegs back here, but he came back in quite a panic. It seems he was waylaid by goblins just as he was almost at Brockenborings, even though it's just over the hill, but hey ho. To think goblins in the Shire! He had to leave the cart behind and barely escaped. I told one of the bounders here, but they haven't done anything yet. Maybe if you can find those goblins up around Brockenborings way, you might find the cart carrying the gypsum too. My man says the goblins seem to be coming from the north, from what that's worth. So have to go find that. What is the green quest? Bears on the green fields. So it's not just literally in the green fields, it's anywhere in the eastern parts of the Shire. But we can go back to the green fields. We'll probably get enough of them by doing other stuff anyway. So up and over. So any bears we're going to murder, we need to go north to kind of either side of the road up to Evendim. That's where the two goblin camps are. So these bears will count. You'll do. Punch it in the ass. Okay, it's stunned me. Well, that's awkward. There we go. One. Do we have any trait points? No, we don't. Just in case there's any unspent from last session. Right, spank all our things. A couple of wolves up here as well, which we still need for our Slayer Deed. Given that the bears are a slight bit underneath us in terms of level, we can spank them pretty easy now. I don't know if I've actually been down in this valley. It just goes down to the Brandywine River, so there's nothing really of interest. Seems you can climb that hill though. Up to there. Maybe we can get around the back of the goblin camp. I've never tried that. Let's make this wolf just because he's here. Bonk. Alright, let's mount back up. So, what other class quest do we need to do? So, if we go class race epic, class deeds, so long distance fling. So, we need to throw more pint glasses at people. That's using our hurl object skill. Smash through the ranks. Do we need badges? No, we don't need badges. Just bears. Use the skills Mighty Upheaval, Backhand Clout, and Strike Towards the Sky. Okay, so that's our AoE skill. Mighty Upheaval and Strike Towards the Sky. So that's possibly the only one we've got at the moment. So basically just spam the fist button. That's okay. Use the skills you acquired when specialising as the Maelstrom. What were those two? That's the wrong one. Maelstrom doesn't tell me what I got. That's awkward. I have to figure that out on the fly. Right, Clover. Pick up the Clover for the Spring Festival. 5 patches of them. Again, if you're having a bit of difficulty spotting these, press the N key, N for names. Just helps you spot them a little bit easier. Otherwise you can look for the sparkles and the glow. Come on, interact. So for those of you that haven't noticed, especially those of you in chat, there's been a recent letter from the executive producer, which they're doing quarterly these days, just detailing the kind of things that are coming at the moment. So they've talked about the next update that's going to come. I think it was estimated for the end of April, but they're going to be releasing a brand new area. It's unclear how big it is. I would imagine it's going to be probably comparable to Wildwood, like a smaller type region, which is called the Yonder Shire, which... Oh, hello, you're having fun there. Which is meant to be like the remote parts of the Shire, where the dodgy folk live, basically. Where are we going? Oh, we just go really far northwest. Okay. We'll head deep into this camp. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with that. I don't know if they actually said what the level range for that was going to be, but it sounds like it's going to be another reasonably low level area. So we shall see. But there's been other kind of important things that they've announced in there. So I mean, I'm going to do a separate video on the letter itself. But one of the main things is all of the content that was released before, up to and including Helm's Deep. So that's most things below level 95, but not all things, because some pre-level 95 content came out after Helm's Deep, like Wildwood, and the soon-to-be released Yonder Shire, and what was the other one? I've forgotten off the top of my head. There's another one they did as well, but those, it seems from the wording, will not be free, but otherwise everything else will be included. So that's the first 5 expansions basically. So anything that came out pre-expansion or between expansions, everything that was in Moria, everything in Mirkwood, everything in Isengard, East Rohan, West Rohan, all 5 of those expansions will be included for free, and they're going to change some other bits and pieces, so you don't have to like buy the high off class race. You don't have to buy the Bjorning, Runekeeper and Warden classes, so it's simplifying things, not as much as it probably could be, because like I say, if they just made it literally all content below level 95 regardless of when it was released, it'd be a bit easier to track what is and isn't included. But otherwise it's a nice step to make things easier for people to join the game without having to buy tons of expansions and stuff. So it's a good time to get into LOTRO, basically, or it will be once they do that. Are you going to wait for me to pull everything? Come on, they're not that hard. Otherwise you're not going to be able to shoot it once. I don't even know where I'm going at the minute. Actually, I've done everything I need to in here. I think I just needed to kill a certain number of goblins in each camp, didn't I? Anyway, give me a few more. Doesn't do any harm to kill a few more goblins. So, Lost Shire Hobbit, floating names equals massive saves all the time, yeah. Helps you find stuff that otherwise might go unnoticed. Particularly if you're finding small things. Like the various quests that you get sometimes to look for footprints. They can be quite hard to spot if you don't have the floating names on. But if it's bigger patches of stuff, it's generally a bit easier, and you can see the flashing a lot easier if it's a big object. And you're so happy about the new area. Yeah, I mean, they haven't told us too much about it. There's like a little bit of a teaser picture of what it will look like. But I don't know if they've really said whereabouts it is, because they said, I can't remember the exact phrasing, but they used the word northern, which implies it's going to be north of the Shire, so like maybe sort of like north or west would beyond these parts, because they can't go literally north, because otherwise we hit Evendim, but maybe like to the northwest of the existing Shire, so they could like wedge it in here or something on the larger map, which would make sense. Or they could be really cheeky and they could use it to connect Mickle Delving to Ered Luin. It's not Mickle Delving, the western part of the Shire to the eastern part of Ered Luin, because there is just like a portal. So if they wanted to be tactical, they could do that. There might be complications for that, because they might have to move the physical coordinates of stuff in Ered Luin to join up with the proper world map completely. But it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see what they do with that.